1059 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Hey! Look at there. You blinked and it's Thursday. Welcome in. On this Thursday, into the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go with the home team. They are your home team. Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. Show them the logo, Matt. I was late hitting the button. There it is. Look at that. It's maroon and white for the record. Welcome in. Get on in here today on this Thursday. Plenty on our plate. There are some interesting headlines. I was looking through some of the headlines that are going to be on that on the show coming up in just a bit. There's some interesting things, and that's all over the place. It's not your typical right down the line like State, Ole Miss, Southern Miss headlines either. There's some interesting stuff out there. That's coming your way. Of course, you do have baseball. It's just not today. You got it tomorrow. We are one day closer. You know, and really, when you don't in the middle of the SEC baseball season, in a state like this one, where everybody's nuts for college baseball, we love it. And there are, as crazy as it may sound to other fans from other parts of the SEC footprint, we actually do have some fans here in this state who they look more forward to baseball season than even football season. There are some of those, some of us. It's true. So it's like you get to this part of the year, similar to football fans in the fall, where you have the game on Saturday, you come in on Reaction Monday, and man, it's just we're all talking and putting our opinions out there and questions and talking about it. Then there's still a little bit of recap going on Tuesday. But Wednesdays during football season are rough because you're in total no man's land. You don't know, is it time to move on past last week, good or bad? Are we already previewing? Because there's no game on Wednesday. At the very earliest, the random Thursday game, Wednesday's not a game day. Thursdays during baseball season are the equivalent of Wednesdays during football. And that's because, here we might occasionally get a Thursday game, but certainly not everybody. There's a whole bunch of Thursdays where there is no game. You have some midweeks on Wednesdays every now and then. Fridays, series openers on Fridays. We get all excited about that. Thursday's no man's land. So I guess we're in preview mode, even though we did a little bit of that yesterday. So still one day away from the series popping up this weekend. But it's really interesting around here. With Ole Miss hosting Georgia, as one of the premier series in the country this weekend. Georgia's already got one sweep in the state of Mississippi when they went to Starkville a few weeks ago. We'll see. And Ole Miss has been swept at home. State did it. You never know. And then the whole State and LSU thing. I saw some people earlier today. They were discussing the idea of whether or not you're going to see new attendance records this weekend for that series. Only thing that might throw a wrench in that plan just a little bit could be weather. North Mississippi tomorrow. Yeah, I think you're going to be okay once you get into Saturday, Sunday. I'll look it up. But I think there's the potential that weather could play a role in it tomorrow. I don't know about, the rest of the state, but in the vicinity of Starkville and Oxford, North Mississippi, you're supposed to maybe have some storms that'll move through there and drop some rain tomorrow. It's just a matter of what time. Like where I live in Tupelo, which is an hour north of Starkville, they're saying a lot of the bad thunderstorms for us will come in overnight tomorrow night, but still it may rain throughout the day tomorrow. We just don't know. So we'll see what weather does. At any rate, that's kind of where things are. That's a little bit of what's on the table. But for me, anything you want to get into is cool with me. Text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776. Got it? Got it? All right, that's 601 number. 601 number. 885-3776. Text me. And, of course, got the phone line open to you. The Junction Phone, Junction Delis all across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. So it's like, you pull up to the pump, a little fuel in your tank, and then you go inside. A little fuel in your belly from the Junction Deli. Rhyme every time. Had to. Number to call the show, 897-1059. That's a 601 number. 897-1059. And hey to you on the live stream. If you're out there in live stream land, hi, YouTube. Hi, Facebook. What's up, Twitter? X. Feel free to pop a comment in there. If you post a comment, if you're watching online, it comes in one nice, neat column here on this screen over here, and I can click any of those comments and pop them up on the screen. Just like that, you're in on the conversation. That's another way to be a part of it. Camera's back up and running in the studio today. I guess you like that. Maybe you don't. You might be like, Matt, take your face off the screen, put the logo back up. We're good. If that's the way you feel about it, also let me know. I'm not wearing my feelings on my sleeve. I'm gonna give you what you want. That's a plan anyway. Hey, and before headlines, let me say, yesterday at the beginning of the show, our everybody's friend Philip Prince came in with that question of who would you, if you could interview any historical person in sports, who would it be? And there was a follow-up to that after the show. I was talking with a friend, and the question came up, okay, then, who is a historical, athlete at your school? One, if you could go back and add one into a modern team now, who would it be? For example, when I was talking about this yesterday afternoon, I said, what I would do is I would go back and I would add Landon Sims to this Mississippi State baseball team. You see what I'm saying? Like, it could be anybody. It wouldn't have to be modern. You could very easily go, well, I'd want to see John Bond playing quarterback now for Jeff Levy. It could be whatever. It could be different sports, but that was the follow-up that came up yesterday afternoon. So, thoughts on that. I promise you, though, what I don't think, and I bet I wouldn't even get an argument with this, if we were to go through that whole exercise today, kind of as a follow-up to yesterday, which historical athlete at your school, if you could pick one to add them back onto your team now, who would it be? Nobody would argue that you couldn't get any better, any more of a surefire lock fit than saying taking Landon Sims from the 21 team and add him onto this year's team as a closer. If you had Landon Sims closing games on this team, they've lost with 2 home sweeps. They've still only lost like 10 games all year. So the question is, it'd be a surefire thing. But anyway, that's just an aside. Denzel. White Denzel text the show. Headlines are coming up. Y'all hang on. Okay, look, if you're on the live stream and you're like, why does Matt keep fooling with his hat? You ever wear a hat and you got some fuzzy something's hanging off the brim of your hat and you can't find it? It's driving you crazy in your peripheral vision. That was me. That's all that was going on. I'm not losing my mind. I think I got it fixed now. White Denzel texts the show on the Country Pleasing text line. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best. I had jalapeno and cheddar Country Pleasing for breakfast, along with a few other things, including some strawberries I cooked down in a pot on the stove, strawberries that came from Native Sun Farms just up the road from where I live in Tupelo. That's the best strawberries I've ever had. And before, I couldn't eat them all. And before some of them started to, become not good, as we say, I cooked them all down, ate them on biscuits this morning. Yeah. So no wonder I'm in a good mood. That and hot coffee from High Point Roasters. Denzel said, happy birthday to the man we can't see, Mr. Five Knuckle Shuffle himself, John Cena. Did I see that he's turning 49? I think he is. Yeah, I think John Cena is celebrating a 49th birthday today. Ricky Bobby, he texted in and said, Tim Elko, no doubt. If he could add Tim Elko onto this year's Ole Miss team, I mean, that's a surefire answer, no doubt about it. Be dynamite. With those other guys, Becerra and those other guys, good night. Can you imagine? All right, headlines coming up next. Just getting started on this Thursday in the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Stick around. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia.
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone1059.com.
Oh, boy, you're right about that, Will. Welcome back. Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team. They are your home team. Will says, happy Thursday, Matt. He's on YouTube, by the way. And he says, I hope the dude effect is working against LSU. Yeah. I know. I do too. The dude effect. Hopefully it affects the other team and not State, right? And then he threw out there and pointed out that it's peak crawfish season, so the fans should be fired up. No doubt. That's the thing. I mean, tomorrow weather could play a role, but then you look at Saturday, Sunday, kind of depending on how it's going. Would you without looking at it, I don't know this. If you look up the top 25 on-campus attendances for college baseball, all 25 of those records belong to Mississippi State and Dudy Noble Field. Are any of them on a Sunday? I would assume some of them are. They'd have to be, right? I mean, but I wonder how many. A few? A lot? Because I'm just thinking, weather's good. If you miss out on Friday, Super Bulldog weekend. If State were to win the first two, have a chance to sweep on Sunday. I'm saying they will. I'm saying if, then they might set that attendance record on Sunday. I mean, it's always possible. All right, as promised, here we go. Headlines for today.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening, and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines on the show brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage related in the state of Mississippi, that's where you want to go. Buying, refinancing, anything in between, that's where you want to go. Look at this. A 1997 Kobe Bryant trading card has been purchased for a record $3.15 million. 1997 Kobe Bryant Metal Universe Precious Metal Gems Green Card. Hallelujah, has been purchased by alternative trading platform Alt, A-L-T, for $3.15 million. It's the most ever paid for one Kobe Bryant card. I didn't have any idea there were basketball cards that drew that kind of price tag, but there we go. And a rookie for the White Sox is making history. Chicago White Sox slugger Munetaka Murakami. Say it with me. Munetaka Murakami. Murakami tied a Major League Baseball rookie record, homering in his fifth straight game. A monster 451-foot shot to right center field against the Diamondbacks. That was his 10th home run of the season. I saw the highlight of it. Dude's left-handed hitter. First of all, if you're a fan of baseball, we don't have any White Sox fans really running around here or listening, I don't think, but maybe a couple. But it doesn't matter. If you're not, if you're just a fan of baseball, fan of sports, go look at clips of this guy hitting. Munetaka Murakami. You talk about a swing. The clip I saw, that home run he hit last night, the announcer goes, well, that's what he does. He either swings and totally misses completely. There's no foul ball. Or he hits it right square in the screws of the barrel and hits it 500 feet. It's one or the other. And you can tell the way he swings the bat. I mean, and he absolutely crushed it. Okay. So he's worth the price of admission just because he may go, he may launch one at some point. But he's tied a rookie record, 5 home runs or a home run in 5 consecutive games. He's trying to make it 6, and we'll see who they're playing tonight. And then you may have seen this clip of the pitcher for the Mariners last night who had a comebacker that's coming back at him off the bat of a hitter at 107.8 miles an hour. He whips around real quick to make sure he doesn't get hit by it and tries to make a play on the ball at the same time, and the ball just disappears. Like he's like, where is it? Somehow, at 108 miles an hour, this thing flew into the seam of his jersey where he's buttoned up jersey, went inside. It's in his jersey. Had to pull it out of his jersey. And when he pulled it out, it goes, it's like it was tight. How did it get in there? Mariners starter Logan Gilbert can thank his jersey for stopping at least one earned run Wednesday. Here's the reason it didn't say they were out. I didn't realize this either, but get it. Pitcher throws the ball. It's hit right back at him at 108 miles an hour. He turns to try to catch it. The ball disappears. It's gone. Where is it? It's inside his jersey. It never touched the ground. But it is ruled a hit. There's a Major League Baseball rule that in order for it to be caught and being out, you have to catch it with some part of your hand or your glove. You can't trap it or catch it in your jersey. So even though the ball is hit right back at him, it goes right into his jersey. It never hits the ground. When he pulled it out, it still was a base hit for the guy. That's weird to me. Anyway, you got to see the highlight if you haven't already. Speaking of, let's see, the White Sox, you want to see Murakami? They don't play tonight. Yeah, they do. They have a game this afternoon. And so we'll get to see if he's going to break that rookie record of a home run 6 straight days. And those are your headlines. Brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. Anything mortgage related, that's where you want to go. All right, you do have the draft starting tonight, but it hasn't started. And so I didn't think the fact that the draft was starting was headline material. However, this is on my handy-dandy iPhone. I came in here on Twitter on my handy-dandy iPhone from C Spire, and I went to the search function. I typed in NFL draft. One of the things that pops up was this tweet by the Babylon Bee regarding the NFL draft. It says, nation excitedly gathers for annual tradition of seeing whose career will be killed by the Cleveland Browns. Now I thought, that's perfect. That is a perfect way to describe the draft. Now, I got to tell you, maybe just as funny was the first comment on that on Twitter underneath it that simply said, as a Jets fan, I resent this. It's an annual tradition. Just call it, instead of calling it the NFL draft, just call it the annual tradition of the nation watching to see whose career is going to be killed by either the Browns or the Jets. It's fantastic. And I guess, if we're being realistic, Myles Garrett is trying his best to be the first high draft pick in a long, long time who was so good that not even the Cleveland Browns could ruin his career. Yeah, but he's going to mess around and get traded to somebody good before any of that happens. Anyway, but those are your headlines. Okay, back over to the question. There was a question earlier tagging on to what we did yesterday, or what came up yesterday. If you could go back and take one historical athlete at your school and add him onto your team now, who would it be and what? I said Landon Sims closing for Mississippi State right now would be. Would they have any losses? Well, 2, because how many one-run games have they lost and given up late runs? Ricky Bobby went Tim Elko for Ole Miss. Can you imagine adding Elko into the lineup they have? White Denzel texted and said he would add, if he could, time machine and all, genie in a bottle, Papelbon for state baseball as a closer. Charles Cross at left tackle for football. Oh, my goodness. I mean, can you look, Denzel, if we're doing this for state football, there's only one answer. That's it. You just did it. That's the only answer. is Charles Cross at left tackle for state football. That's it. That's the only answer. And then he would do D. Bost for men's basketball. People forget how good D. Bost was for 4 years. Nick says he'd go with Westy, Jordan Westberg. And he says, because Lord knows Woodson needs to take a seat. Man, Westberg was incredible too. And of course, is not playing this year for the Orioles because he's rehab. He had to have that surgery. He's been really banged up the last 2 years in the bigs, but super athlete. Like wide receiver, D1 wide receiver fast athlete. Choking up on the bat, hitting home runs, a dead center field athlete. More with you after this. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agents
phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with.
1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance. Go! With the home team. Ricky Bobby texted the show, and he said, as an ex-Mississippi State fan, he says, I went to Ole Miss and converted. He said, you'd have to bring back Shane Powers and Lawrence Roberts for basketball. Man, that would be two great ones. And he says football would be either Anthony Dixon or Wayne Madkin. And that would be two good ones for sure. Dixon, you know, kind of totally different mold type of ball carrier, tailback, running back versus what you see in a lot of the modern offense. Like it's just big and strong, but certainly like the kind of player who he'd fit in anybody's offense, right? Would love to see him back. Wayne, always a little bit underrated and maybe not appreciated enough for the things he did in his career as a state quarterback, especially early. Took over 3 games into the 98 season when they benched me. And he took over 3 games in, and as a freshman plays us into the SEC championship game that year in 98. Huge year in 99 with 10 wins that year and a Peach Bowl win over Clemson. And I think, go back and look, but I think Wayne was the Peach Bowl MVP, wasn't he? At the end, that was the last college game I was ever there for, and I think he was on the stage as MVP, but it's all fuzzy. But, man, he could play. He could throw it. Ball just jumped out of his hands. Really good athlete. People didn't realize it. Wayne was like a legit 4'5", low 4'6" guy in a 40. He could really run. Really good athlete. Yeah, no doubt. Shane Powers, Lawrence Roberts, and we've talked about it. It's like reminiscing in the past, but you're 20-plus years ago now. But you were, when they came along, you were still less than 10 years removed from Richard Williams and the Final Four team in 96, which was kind of like a high watermark, and the fan base totally invested in Mississippi State basketball. And so even when Coach Stansbury then takes over as head coach, it's like totally invested in basketball. Good teams. They're recruiting at a high level. They're always right up there. Kentucky was pretty much the best every year in, year out. It seemed like they were always up there trying to nip on their heels. But those teams, this was around 2004, where you had Shane Power, Lawrence Roberts inside, Brandon Vincent, Winsome Frazier, Timmy Bowers. I mean, those teams were incredible. And every home game, Wednesday night, Saturday, didn't matter the tip time, it's, spilling out of the exits. Maybe not sold out every night, but at least every night you're putting 9,000 in there in a 10,000 arena. It was great, and they were worth it. They were worth going and seeing. Nick texted the show and says, wait, I have the correct answer. It's Logan Tanner, and it's really not close. All right, Nick. I thought about that earlier, too. If we were going this year's team, a sort of default. If you could pick one player from the past, put him on this year's team, I defaulted when I was asked about it yesterday afternoon to Landon Sims, closing out games. But it is true, and I thought about that this morning. You'd have to have somebody who could catch him. And you think about the movement that at 98 miles an hour with Sims out there closing games out. It's not as effective if you can't catch it and it's at the backstop every time. Yeah. So Logan Tanner, who was your catcher and a really, really good one back there. Great arm. He did throw some people out from his knees, over the course of his career, but an excellent hitter too. Had big hits throughout the season in 21, throughout the postseason College World Series. That might be it. Who are the greatest catchers in Mississippi State baseball history? Okay, and I'm not talking about just defensive, but it'd have to be the combination of really good behind the plate and also as a hitter. Who are the best? Who pops up in your head? If I go, list me the top 3 or top 5 catchers in state baseball history. Who would that be? Where would Logan Tanner fall on that list? It's an interesting conversation because I think you're onto it, Nick. I really do. If you're going strictly practical, yeah, you put Logan Tanner on this team, probably what? I mean, you could even go back and look it up and see what his average was. I'm just guessing. Probably hits for better average than the guys, you have now. Maluski can hit for power, certainly. But I would think Logan Tanner probably was a hit for better average. And he's better behind the plate. He just is. J-Rock says it would be Ed Easley, Barry Winford, Logan Tanner. Yeah, Ed. So Easley, without looking, again, I could Google it, but he was drafted pretty highly, right? I don't guess he ever made it all the way up, but bounced around in the minor leagues for a good many years, but was a really highly regarded prospect. Everybody, somebody else bringing up Barry Winford and another Jim Robinson. What about Barry Patton on those 90s teams? Wasn't Barry the catcher for both of the back-to-back College World Series teams in 97, 98? The Brad Freeman, Eric DuBose, Adam Pyatt, John Knott teams. Brooks Bryan, Rusty Toms. Wasn't Barry the catcher for both of those trips to Omaha? Barry Patton? Yeah, and J-Rock telling me that, Ed Easley won the Johnny Bench Award for the best catcher in the country. Okay. that says a lot. All right, look, John was commenting on this earlier on Facebook when we had the headline about the guy pitching for the Mariners last night who throws a pitch. It gets hit right back at him. Line drive at 108 miles an hour right at him. He moves to try to catch it, but mostly to get out of the way to keep from getting hurt. The ball disappears. It's not in his glove or in his hand. It's gone inside of his jersey somehow. Somehow it found a crease and at 108 miles an hour went into his jersey. He's looking around. He realizes it's inside his jersey. He reaches in, he pulls it. It's so tight when he pulled the ball out, it goes like, so it was a hit. It was not an out. John says on Facebook, MLB should change that rule. That should have been an out. Yeah, the rule was, okay, it's not a catch if you don't use your hand or your glove. You can't use some part of the body or clothing or whatever to trap the baseball. But, I mean, it's a line drive that in a half a second disappears, stops. It never touches the ground. It's caught inside of his jersey. He had nothing to do with it. He certainly didn't do it on purpose. Reaches in, pulls it out. He's got it in his hand. They explain that to me. If the rule is it's not a catch unless you use your hand or your glove. Well, he did use his hand. Ball goes in, rattles around, it's in his jersey. Now he pulls it out, it's in his hand. That should be a catch. They didn't put a time limit on it. I agree with you, John. That should not have been a hit. Hey, my man Danny on YouTube from Ringgold, Georgia. He said, interesting that no one has mentioned Will Clark or Rafael Palmeiro. Yeah, I know. That is interesting. And it shows you a little bit about the level to which I think state baseball fans think about their baseball team. Okay, they're the only two with a statue at your stadium, Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro. Two left-handed hitters that some of the best there's ever been. Long time in the majors. What are they combined in the majors? Probably, 25, 30 years combined in the majors. The deal is, though, Danny, everybody's looking at it going, okay, well, this team doesn't necessarily need as bad to really complete it and make it dominant. They don't need as bad a first baseman or an outfielder who can really hit. What they really need is a catcher. And right with that, if you could run a closer out there like Landon Sims or like somebody else said, Papelbon, what would that do for this particular team? Lotan, a catcher like Ed Easley on this team, it's totally complete. It's as complete a team as you maybe have ever had. If. Not to say that you don't appreciate the guys you have. It's just those guys were all-timers at that position. So that's how State fans are thinking about it. All right. Rolling along. Back with you in a bit. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the
And tell him what you think right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes, that's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. G-Bama Boy on YouTube says, Matt, it's unhealthy how much country pleasing sausage I'm eating since it's sold here in Georgia now. I'm telling you, it's taking over. What flavors, G-Bama Boy? I'd be curious to know what you've gotten your hands on as they've begun to sell it there. I know, generally most places you see when they have it, which it's all over the place, grocery store. And when we say grocery stores all over the Southeast, we really mean it. All the way to Oklahoma on one side and, way out east of you on the other. But if they have it, you usually see the original smoked sausage flavor, which is just good for anything and everything. Frying it up, eating it, cooking it in stuff, everything. Like you say, some of the first that I got my hands on, my local Kroger in North Mississippi, when I first started getting it 5-6 years ago, whenever it was, they also always had jalapeno and cheddar. And boy, and I've tried it all. Every flavor they have, I've had it. I've not found any I don't like. But that jalapeno and cheddar, that's the real deal. That's my favorite. So the original, yeah, gotcha. The original smoked sausage. It's great. Great just like it is. Regarding who you'd bring back, Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, I'd bring back Dan Peer for basketball. Nobody would be able to stop him these days. What about that? What was he, 6'11"? I know he's 6'10", at least 6'11". Played the 5 position for Dallas, and who was the other team? Maybe Indiana in the NBA for 10 years, something like that. Yeah, so a guy like that around the basket. Would he be unstoppable in today's game? Kenny, don't call me Ken, texted the show. Country Pleasing text line and said, my son Kyle took Ed Easley, his counselor, deep when he was 8 years old during baseball camp. Hit a wiffle ball from the old concourse over the third base stands. He says, I have it on video, and it says he clowned on Ed Easley all around the base. Ed's a great guy. Hey, and am I right, Kenny? Ed's been coaching and teaching young kids baseball and developing them now for years and years. I think he's been doing that. I think. Now, I don't think I dreamed that up, but that's the thing. And thanks for the story. Bill texted in. He said, Matt, that pork and pineapple country pleasing is the best. However, he says they now sell some without the casing. You're right about that. Great for sausage dogs. Fry them up. Some of that 3 cheese without the casing, let it cool, roll it in some crescent roll dough, bake it for about 15 minutes. They might have to roll you out of the kitchen. Now, wait just a minute. Hold your horses. I have not thought of that. They just came out with it, I think, last year. It might have been the year before last, but I think it was last year that they came out with the caseless, bun size for sausage dogs and stuff. And you're saying you can take that, the 3 cheese version of it, roll it up in crescent roll dough, bake it for 15 minutes. And what we're talking about here is a high level, sophisticated, souped up, as we say, pigs in a blanket. Hey, Bill, I want to thank you for that suggestion, sir. Look, and I know I weigh too much. especially according to that stupid chart hanging on the wall in the doctor's office. That thing never has been what I feel like realistic. Was it the BMI index? Pfft. That thing wants everybody to be bone skinny. But anyway, I realize I need to lose some weight, but I'm trying that. Bill, thank you so much for that suggestion, sir. Yeah, Will, it's just something different. You know, not everybody likes it. Will said, why wouldn't you want the casing on your hot dog or sausage dog? The snap of the natural casing is so good. It is to about 95% of us. It's just that the other 5% may not like it or might want it for some other use. But I'm with you. The snap's part of it. It's all part of the experience, honey. Clark Griswold. G Bama Boy says, I'm originally from Alabama, and I plan to look for the cheddar and jalapeno in Alabama on Mother's Day weekend. Maybe you will find some. But look, I believe you can order it at countrypleasing.com. Don't, I saw earlier, don't put the G on the end. It's not pleasing, it's pleasing. Countrypleasing.com. I think you can order it right there. You ought to do it. Order it. They'll FedEx it to you with some ice in there. It'll still be frozen when it gets to you. They know what they're doing. I've gotten those boxes before. You open it, it's like something out of a movie, that cold steam comes out of the box. You're like, yes! Let's go. Bill said I'm correct about Ed Easley. He runs a baseball organization in the Memphis area called Easley Baseball Club. He said, I think they have age ranges from 7 years up to 18, and they always have some really good teams. Well, thanks for sharing that. I thought that was right. Hey, here's an anniversary, like an on this day for you that you might find interesting. On this day, 2005, that's about the time Ed Easley was playing baseball at State, wasn't it? On this day, 2005, 21 years ago today, the very first ever YouTube video was uploaded. The first one ever. My question for you is, because it's a guarantee. We even have people watching this show on YouTube right now. It's a guarantee we all look at YouTube. We've all got our favorite videos. We've all got our favorite things we follow, stuff we're looking for, things we've learned from YouTube videos. And then we say we're self-taught. Turns out we watched it on YouTube. It's not true. We've all had our YouTube rabbit holes we go down from time to time. The one I'm in right now is I'm going back and watching all the Siskel and Ebert movie review shows in Chicago from the 80s and the 90s. They do like a 30-minute show on the worst movies of 1987. It's fascinating. They would just slice them all to pieces. It's really funny. But anyway, I digress. Bet none of us, and I wouldn't have known until I saw this, bet you don't know what was the very first YouTube video ever uploaded, and it happened on this day, April 23rd, 2005. It was uploaded by one of the co-founders of YouTube, a guy named Jawed Karim. The name of the video that he uploaded on this day in 2005, Jawed Karim, is called Me at the Zoo. Now, Will, you had to have looked that up. Will on YouTube says Me at the Zoo is the first YouTube video. The founders of YouTube uploaded it mostly as a test, and he still updates the description. What, to say this many years ago or whatever? You know what, Will? I've never watched it. I didn't know this until I read it today on the calendar. Gonna go watch it during the break between now and hour 2. Me at the Zoo. And Will, you're an honest guy. He says he did go look it up. He went and looked it up. He's an honest guy. Gene on Facebook, all caps, with multiple exclamation points, says, Hail State from Vicksburg. VIC, KSB, 𝐌𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢, Vicksburg, Vicksburg. Annabeth taught me that cheer. That's what they used to cheer at Vicksburg High School. Hey to Eugene, glad you're in here. Hour 2 is coming up. We'll recap our headlines from Hour 1. Some interesting stuff in there. Got to preview a little baseball at some point. We really did that heavily yesterday, but we'll do it again today. See if anything's changed in less than 24 hours. All that and more. Hour 2 in the Bureau coming up. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in. Be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. The original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Delis, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand new that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germany.
With all the good stuff you need to know. Right here on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Back with you. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau. Get on in here. You can be a part of the show. Lots of different ways to do that. Text me, call me, comment on the live stream. I'll give you those numbers coming up. We got hour one behind us. Still got an hour to go. Plenty of time to get into whatever it is you want to get into with me today. Including hot coffee in the thermos from High Point Roasters in New Albany. Great folks. Keep me stocked up. Caffeinated. Keep me caffeinated. Staying connected to you today because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. They call Mississippi home. That's why they're so good to us. The #1 network here in their home state and our home state. A great Mississippi company, C Spire. Check them out at cspire.com. Yeah, text me. You want the number? We were talking sausage on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text, 885-3776. 601 number, 885-3776. Call me. That way I get to hear your voice. On the Junction phone, Junction Delis all across the state of Mississippi, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Number to call, 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. And if you're on the live stream, howdy. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, just type in a comment, post it. I'll be able to see it right there. Who was it? So Jason said Dampier. If he could bring one back for basketball, it'd be Eric Dampier. That's a good one. He said nobody'd be able to stop him these days. What do y'all think? If you were to take it a step further and go, okay, you're going to bring somebody back who is underrated. You bring somebody back from the history of your school who's underrated. You could go a bunch of different ways there, but Jason, what about, what was his name? Sharp, the guy from Birmingham. Was it Walter? Was that his first name? Sharp? What about Jamont Gordon? Could do everything, handle the ball. Jamont Gordon. Say underrated. Here's one for you. State baseball. Brian Weiss. Y'all remember Brian Weiss? Great. Was he like the SEC Player of the Year one year? Maybe. Late 90s. That's one. You don't talk about him. Really good. Great college career. Here's one for you, since we were talking closers earlier for state. What about Jonathan Holder? If you could bring Jonathan Holder back, his heyday right now, you talk about a fit. Closer like that, big 12-6 breaking ball, nobody could hit. Bring him back. Underrated. See, that popped up in my head earlier when somebody brought up Wayne Madkin. You know, because if you look at this state team, this state football team, you don't naturally, when you think about going back and getting some great player from the past to come in and, fill a need for you, you don't naturally think about quarterback because you have Kamario Taylor, and we're all super high on him. He's like, his upside, you can't even, like, not only is it through the roof, it's out of sight, his upside. Okay, so you don't necessarily think quarterback. But I said that Wayne was probably a little underrated, underappreciated for what he did in his career. Well, okay. Here's one. Derek Sherrod. I told Nick earlier that he was exactly right. Going Charles Cross at left tackle, first-round draft pick at left tackle, who is a mainstay for Seattle. What is he, top 3 left tackles in all of football in the NFL? Okay. But in terms of his college career before he got hurt, Derek Sherrod was outstanding. Not only highly recruited, but outstanding, and a first-round draft pick at left tackle. He'd fit in nicely in that need on your offensive line, wouldn't he? So you can think of some now. Here's one. Robert Hicks. Randy Thomas. Randy Thomas on our teams in the 90s, of course, he played guard. He played a little bit of anything for Parcells and them in the NFL for 10 years. Great player on the offensive line. Great player. Brent Smith, 90s offensive lineman, draft pick, played in the NFL for what, a decade? Playing tackle in the NFL, you kidding me? Wes texted in. Yeah, so if you go basketball, Jarvis Bernardo, Winsome Frazier. Yeah, underrated and would come back and probably be your best player. I mean, really, close to it. I'm not looking at the numbers right here. Let me look it up. Maybe I can find it for Winsome, because somebody brought up the Shane Power, Timmy Bowers, Lawrence Roberts teams, 04, right in there. Well, Winsome Frazier is in there with him, okay? He's on that team. And he was the guy who, y'all know it if you lived through it and watched it and saw that. He would spot up in the corner and every now and then get hot, and there was nothing anybody could do. He'd hit 3-4 threes in a row when he got hot from spots on the floor that you're not supposed to hit them from, and there was not a thing anybody could do about it. He would just get that way. So Winsome Frazier, all 4 years of his career at Mississippi State, was a senior on that 04-05 team. Shot 35% from three-point range for his career. You talk about consistent. Look at this. His sophomore year, he was 33.7% from three-point range. His junior year, he was also exactly 33.7% from three-point range. Back-to-back years, the exact same three-point shooting percentage. His final year, a jump to 37%. As a senior, he shot 37% from three in that particular year. He averaged almost 2 steals a game. When he was a junior, he averaged almost 3 steals a game while being a deadly, consistent three-point shooter. His whole career from let's see, 42% overall is 52%, two from two. A 76% free throw shooter, averaged 13 points a game as a junior, 12 points a game as a senior. So, look, you may have just actually discovered, you start looking at the numbers. If we go look at the numbers, I don't know who the others are that were kind of your three-point shooters. But you go back to 96, Darrell Wilson on the Final Four team was as consistent. What was he shooting? 36, 37, 38% from three that year. And really, I don't know if you've had anybody else that compares to that consistent over that many years in a Bulldog uniform shooting from three than Winsome Frazier. So you may have just nailed it. Maybe the most underrated basketball player, if we're talking about state. A guy who averages 13 his junior year, 12. The year that he averaged 13 points a game as a junior, he also averaged 3 steals a game and almost 2 assists a ball game. And he's shooting, close to 35% from 3. Makes me kind of want to go back and watch it again. That's what I'm saying. That's what I remembered about him, is he'd have times where he would get on a hot streak. Didn't matter what anybody did. It didn't matter. All you had to do was get the ball to him. And it was like, as soon as he touched it, everybody would stand up, put their hands in the air, because it was going to be, whoom, here we go. Because you knew he was going to make it. Man, it's fun to watch those kind of players. Wonder what old Winsome Fraser's up to these days. Just getting started. We'll hit headlines and recap those when we come back. Stick around.
I'm at the plate. I'm always...
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender. Hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Ogeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got.
show on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at the Zone1059.com.
Back with you. Dog Tired brought it up on the Country Pleasing text line, and so did Gene on Facebook. Gene said, as Dick Vitale used to say, down goes Frazier. Dog Tired said, use your, down goes Frazier, use your Vitale voice when you read it. LOL. But I can't do a Dick Vitale impression. But I can hear it in my head. Sort of. Down goes Frazier. Hey, but get this, y'all. Now, it's the internet. There's always a chance something could be, inaccurate. But there is a basketball website called LatinBasket.com. As in Latin basketball. It is like an international basketball association league tracker website. All kinds of stuff on it about Euro basketball, summer league stuff, everything else. There's a whole profile there for former Mississippi State three-point shooter Winsome Frazier. He was more than a three-point shooter, He led the SEC one year in steals per game. That was his junior year. I think he was second in overall steals, but he was steals per game. He was number one. But he's just a really good, consistent three-point shooter. Well, listen to what it says about Winsome Frazier, because I made the comment, I wonder what he's up to these days. I'll tell you what he's been up to, period, since college, is playing basketball somewhere and getting paid to do it. Every year, just about since college. He graduated state in 05. Like you say, the 04-05 season was Winsome Frazier's senior year. He has played in Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Cyprus, Ecuador, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ukraine, Uruguay, USA, and Venezuela, 12 different countries. Most recently, it tracked every stat every year of his career internationally from 2008 until 2020. So see, what would he be? Would he be he'd be in his 40s now. He'd have to be, right? Yeah, he would. He'd be in his 40s now. So over the last 4 or 5 years, he got in his 40s, and so that's sort of fallen off. But look, in 2008 and 9 season, he played for a team in Germany. Then 09-10 season, he played for 2 different teams in Hungary. He was in Poland in 2010 and 11. He was in what looks like Ukraine, 11 and 12, 12 and 13, 13 and 14. 3 years in Ukraine. At the end of 2014, he went to a team in Venezuela. Finished up 2014 season in Venezuela. Then he starts a new season and takes him all the way through the 15-16 seasons, 2 years for a team in Argentina, back to Hungary, 2016-17, to Uruguay, 2017-18. Middle of that year, he goes back to Argentina. The next year, 2018-19, he's in Chile. Middle of that year, they trade him back to a team from Argentina. He's with them for 2 years. And the last year we have of him professionally is in Uruguay in the 19 and 20 season. I tell you what now, that's doggone impressive to me. And here's the thing about it. I don't know what level of competition. I'm not looking at it. I don't know. It tells you what leagues these are all in. It's like German 1, Ukraine 1, Argentina 1. Like it's the top leagues in these countries. His final year was in Uruguay in 2019 and 20, and he shot 37% from three-point. just like he did in college 20 years earlier. Well, maybe not quite 20 years earlier. He had a couple of years back in 11 and 12 playing for a team in Ukraine. He shot 46% from three-point range. I didn't know that. You know, again, you spend a decade and a half playing for teams in Argentina, Bolivia, Chile, Cyprus, Ecuador, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ukraine, Uruguay, USA, and Venezuela. Think of the stories that Winsome Frazier has. I would love to sit down with that guy. Olivier texted the show and said, I'm late to the conversation, but it was Howard Cosell that famously said, down goes Frazier. Yeah, Olivier, you're right. So here, this was the thread. We were actually talking about Winsome Frazier, basketball player, Mississippi State, from like 02 to 05 on the Timmy Bowers teams. And in a take on Howard Cosell, according to Dog Tired and Gene and some others, Dick Vitale, when he would call the state games and Frazier would get hot from three, he'd say, down goes Frazier or something like that. He was quoting Howard Cosell. Yeah, but it originated with Howard Cosell calling a Muhammad Ali fight with Joe Frazier, right? Right. Anyway, there's our little bit of an internet rabbit hole for a former Mississippi State Bulldog. I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with that. He played for a long time, for a bunch of, you talk about putting in some miles. See, Dog Tired, I can't do that either. Howard Cosell. That's all I got. It's not even really an imitation of Howard Cosell. It's just I've got the inflection points. Howard Cosell. That's all I got. He was even before my time. That's how old he was. Look how old I am. Headlines, here we go.
Good evening. I'm Ron Burgundy, and this is what's happening in your world.
Good evening and welcome to Eyewitness News.
Here's what's making news.
Headlines and I Gotta Go Fast, brought to you by the Mortgage Man Group, powered by Luminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com. A 1997 Kobe Bryant trading card has been purchased for a record $3.15 million. 1997 Kobe Bryant Metal Universe Precious Metal Gems Green Card. $3.15 million for a trading card. Chicago White Sox slugger Munetaka Murakami. Say it fast. Murakami has tied a Major League rookie record, homering in his fifth straight game. I saw the video. It went 451 feet in Arizona. If you want to see what it looks like to get all of your muscles behind a swing of a baseball bat, watch this guy hit. He's something else. Munetaka Murakami plays for the White Sox. Rookie. Worth the price of admission. Draft starts tonight. So there's that. Baseball scores. The Braves are playing right now. 2-2 with the Nats in the sixth. We got another game tonight between the Pirates and the Rangers. Pirates won it last night. Jake pinch hit, drove in a run. I think Connor Griffin had a good night at short. He just didn't have a hit at the plate. I think it was maybe 0 for 3 was the total last night. But yeah, it was an 8-4 win. And the go-ahead run was Jake Mangum pinch hit. He chopped one to the third baseman. Guy comes home. He beats it out at first. Got home safe. He gets an RBI, but not a hit. So technically, Jake was 0 for 1, but he had an RBI. And I think maybe came around and scored in that inning. Pirates had a big inning. And O'Neill Cruz hit a home run that was the fastest, or, off the bat, fastest home run this year at 116 miles an hour. Hit the top of the flagpole in the Rangers Stadium last night. Showed it. True story. And those are your headlines brought to you by The Mortgage Man Group, powered by Illuminate Bank. Find them online at mortgagemanms.com, mortgagemanms.com. Rolling along with you here on a Thursday. I'm Matt in the Bureau. Staying connected to you because of C Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi, a great Mississippi company. C Spire, check them out at cspire.com. Back after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Delis, Convenience Redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton, we say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country-pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire. Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call somebody.
That's the Zone 105.9, and coming to you worldwide at thezone1059.com.
All right, back with you. Rolling along. Look here. Mississippi State is having a surplus equipment sale at Davis-Wade Stadium on May the 9th. The story on the website says, State fans looking to upgrade their gear collection can head to Davis-Wade Stadium on Saturday, May the 9th, for a surplus sale. The event offers a rare opportunity for the public to purchase authentic Bulldog equipment and sideline gear. The inventory features a massive selection of items, including official team uniforms, athletic footwear, and various apparel issued to state student athletes and staff. This is Saturday, May the 9th, Davis-Wade Stadium. Uniform, shoes, and team apparel. More information on the event, such as the start time, location of the sale inside the stadium, and payment options are going to be released later. Also happening on campus after the surplus sale will be Game 3 of the Diamond Dogs baseball series against Auburn. And on that day, first pitch for now is scheduled for 3 p.m. Go to hailstate.com for more details, latest news and such. I got a lot of questions. It's neat. I think I've caught wind of this stuff before, but if you're listening, I would ask you, okay, have you ever been to one of these surplus sales for an athletics team before? If so, what'd you buy? How much did that cost? Are you glad you did it? What it doesn't say here is it game used or not? I wouldn't think it'd be game used, would you? I don't think it'd be used stuff, would it? I bet it's not used. But it has my attention, and I'll tell you why. I wear a size 15 shoe. Okay, and in the age of the internet, I can get whatever I want, just order it. But this is the kind of thing where I know they'll have a big foot supply because many of the football team have giant feet. So they'll have some big shoes in there. I can get a deal on them. The other thing, I could take it a step further and say, if you are going to this, let me send you my number. Okay, and if you roll up in there with some good-looking size 15s on a deal, I'll Venmo you the money. You pick them up. We'll arrange a pickup. Wipe our hands of this whole thing. Have it handy-dandy. Discount. I don't know. Official uniforms, shoes, and team apparel. And team apparel is going to be all the stuff they give out. Jackets, shirts, all that kind of stuff. That's neat. So I guess you'll just watch the website or maybe call them and ask them, because it says more information on the start time and the location of the sale inside the stadium will be released later. I wonder where the money goes. I wonder how much money that a school like that makes on a surplus sale. I guarantee you some make more than others, wouldn't they? To say the least. Hey, we talked about this in hour number 1. I don't know if you saw this last night. You may watch baseball the rest of your life, never see it again. How it happened, I'm not really even sure. I'll describe it for you. A guy's pitching last night, Logan Gilbert. He's a pitcher for the Mariners. All right, he throws a pitch. They're playing the A's. He throws a pitch. Ball gets tattooed. Coming right back at him. A line drive, a comebacker on the mound at 108 miles an hour is how fast the ball's moving off the bat. Just, here it comes. He quickly ducks to the side to try to catch it and get out of the way at the same time, and then the ball just disappears. It's not in his glove. It's not in his hand. The ball just, it's like, where is it? It's gone. It didn't keep going. Has it impaled him? I mean, like, what happened? What it was is when he turned to the side, his jersey, which for the Mariners are a button-up jersey, he turned to the side. There's just enough space. That ball hits him and goes into his jersey. It's inside his jersey. Between the inside of the jersey and him is the baseball. And he's like, okay. And then he reaches, play kind of stops, Runner goes to first. He reaches inside the jersey there between the buttons, pulls the ball out. It's a tight fit. The ball didn't just come out. It's like he had to, and then it goes, and the ball pops out. But according to the Major League rule, the runner's safe. Now explain that to me. Can you honestly explain that to me? Because they go, well, the Major League rule is you have to use your hand or your glove or combination thereof for it to be a catch. You can't catch it with some other article of clothing or part of your body or what. That's the rule. Trapping it, I guess. You got to secure the thing with your hand. Okay, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Because now according to that Major League rule, you're trying to then decide the amount of time. Because let's say, let me give you a hypothetical. Guy in the outfield is trying to run down a line drive. He makes a diving attempt, lays out, gets a glove on the baseball, doesn't actually secure it, but kind of, the ball hits the glove, pops up in the air, the guy hits the ground, rolls around, the ball falls, never touches the ground, and he eventually, after juggling it, corrals the baseball. Well, they're going to go out because he eventually, without the ball hitting the ground, he eventually secured it with his hand. Another hypothetical would be you're just running down a fly ball, right? You're running to your left. You're maybe retreating. You're headed towards a warning track. You get a glove on it, but you don't secure it initially. The ball hits your glove, pops up in the air, and then you're like, whoa, and you pull it in on the ricochet. You pull it in the rebound, and now you got it, and it's like it's an out because the ball never hit the ground. Well, this is the same thing. It's just it took him a little while to get it out of his jersey. Ball goes in. He finally goes in, brings it out. The ball never touched the ground. He eventually secures it in his hand. The only difference between that one last night and the other hypothetical scenarios I outlined is the amount of time that the ball was juggled between hit and secured in the hand. These is a matter of seconds. Oh, it hits my glove. It pops up. I juggle it. Oh, I finally got it. It never hit the ground. Out. He's out. Every time. Matter of seconds. This one, it's just a few more seconds. Ball goes in his jersey. He's like, where is it? I don't have it. Oh, it's in here. Sticks his hand in his jersey, pulls it out, baseball. And then they're telling me that that's a hit according to the rule. That don't make any sense at all. None. That rule does not make sense. It should have been a hit. 10 times out of 10, that's a hit. 100%. Don't understand that rule. I don't understand putting that rule in. Well, I mean, why wouldn't you just say, here's the deal. A ball off the bat that has not touched the ground or one of the walls of the stadium. The ball's in play between the white lines of fair ball and has not touched the ground. If you secure it in your hand eventually, it's out. Period. That should be the rule. I don't think you can even explain a reason it ought to be the way they've did that last night. Gave that guy a hit. That doesn't make any sense at all. None. How can you, what you got the rule for? I don't get it. Also, didn't have it in the headlines. We'll say, yeah, okay, the draft's going to start tonight. Funniest thing I've seen was Babylon B tweeted that the draft is the annual tradition of the nation getting together to look and see which player's career is going to be killed by the Cleveland Browns. Isn't it true? Isn't it true? And then the first comment under that was a Jets fan that said, hey, as a Jets fan, I resent this. Because it's basically true. It's basically true. You get drafted by the Browns, it's over. Unless you're Myles Garrett. That's how great, that's how unbelievable he is. He's the only one who's about to, be the exception of this thing. Let me give you an example here. Cleveland Browns all-time draft history. Had to do one of these things where I had to click and confirm that I'm a real person. You recognize any of these names? Let's just go back last year. Michael Hall, Zach Zenner, Jamari Thrash, Nathaniel Watson, we know him. Miles Harden, Juwan Briggs, Cedric Tillman, DeJuan Jones, Isaiah McGuire, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, Cameron Mitchell, Luke Weipler, Alex Wright, David Bell, Perrion Winfrey, Cade York, Jerome Ford, Michael Woods II, Isaiah Thomas. I'm 4 years ago. I'm back to COVID. Still hadn't heard one you know. Stick around.
Jake Mangum here.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple, bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwhyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwhyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone. because you go to church with him. Your kids go.
You're going to hear about them all and get to talk about it with Matt Wyatt right here, right now on the Zone 105.9 and worldwide at thezone1059.com.
Jets draft picks. How many years you want to go back? You want to go back to the COVID year, 2021. Here they are. Jets draft picks. Here we go. Some of my pronunciations will be off. I'll do my best. 𝐅𝐚𝐫𝐦, Mason Taylor, Azareye'h Thomas, Arian Smith, Malachi Moore, Francisco Malgua, Tyler Barron, Malachi Corley, Braylon Allen, Jordan Travis, Isaiah Davis, Quantez Staggers, Jalen Key, Will McDonald, Joe Tipman, Carter Warren, Israel Abanikanda, Zaire Barnes, Jarek Bernard Converse, Zach Kuntz, Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson II, Breece Hall, got it. 2022, Breece Hall is a name we all know. Jeremy Ruckert, Max Mitchell, Michael Clemens. And then 2021, Zach Wilson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Elijah Moore, Michael Carter, Jamian Sherwood, Jason, is it Pinnock? Hamza Nazarildeen, Brandon Eccles, Jonathan Marshall. It's your Jets draft picks. I had one that's a household name. That's Breece Hall. And look, for the Browns, I mean, last year they take Shedeur Sanders. The deal with that whole thing, that's how we know. The year before that, of course, they took Nathaniel Watson from Mississippi State. Of course, I know him, but, Bookie's not a household name. And Emerson in 2022 from State, know him too. But at least for me, there's a couple more guys in the list of draft picks for the Browns who at this point we still know their name. This is really cool. So Breck texted the show on the Country Pleasing text line. He said, Matt, I've been to this is Breck Riley, by the way, radio extraordinaire Breck Riley, play-by-play man. He said, Matt, I've been to Mississippi State surplus sale before, and with pictures to prove it, he sent me this. My haul included old seats from the hump, a used bowl game jersey, and some Adidas track pants and more. Now, the jersey is from the Tax Slayer Bowl. Somebody wearing number 11 had on a SEC graduate patch. Okay, so we can figure out who that was. We can figure out who it was. When did State go to the Tax Slayer Bowl? How many? They've been 3 times? 4 since it was Tax Slayer? Or 2? Jumping around. Hang on, I'll tell you. I know one of them would have been when Mullen left, because it was Tax Slayer then. Yeah, which was 2017, which was right, because it was the end of the 2017 season. Fitzgerald had gotten his ankle broken in the Egg Bowl. And so Keaton Thompson was your quarterback. He was a freshman. Finished out the Egg Bowl, but played in that Tax Slayer Bowl against Lamar Jackson and Louisville, and State beat him. Played really well. Greg Knox was your interim coach. They only had about 4 or 5 coaches on the whole staff, and went in there and beat Lamar Jackson and Louisville, and in large part because of having, 3 future first-round draft picks on that defense. You had Jonathan Abram at safety. You had Montez Sweat on a defensive line and Jeffrey Simmons on a defensive line. And that's a big reason why he won that game. But who would have been 11? Would 𝐁𝐿𝐬𝐬𝐢𝐬𝐬𝐢 Kovin have been on that team? Remember safety from Florence, Alabama? Was he? Because he wore 11. No, he finished the year before. He was not on the 2017 team. We're going to figure out whose jersey that was. Breck, it didn't have a name on the back of it? So then it's possible then. No, because when they played Northwestern in Jacksonville in 2012, at the end of the 2012 season, it was still called the Gator Bowl then. And according to what I look up, it would have had to have been the 2017 team, according to everything I'm looking up. So we got to figure out who would have been 11 on that team. Breck, you probably already know this. I bet you already looked it up, didn't you? Nah, shoot, I don't have it. I don't have it in front of me. Yeah, the seats are pretty cool too. You got 2 seats out of the hump. I don't know what row they were on, but I know this. They were seats 1 and 2. Question is, Breck, what did you use those old seats from the hump that you bought at the surplus sale? What are they used for? You like sit in them on your porch or something? I would like to know. Here we go. We may find out now. Let's see. Come on. Give me an 11 here. Because it had a graduate patch. It would have had to have been a senior, right? That's crazy. I don't see one. Blair from Brandon says Desmond Jones. See, that's the thing, though. It's got a graduate patch. He would have been a senior. But when you look up the official roster for that 2017 team, I can't find him on there. Oh, well. Oh, Des Harris. Okay. Yeah, not Jones, but Harris. Desmond Harris. So, did he? Yeah, he was a senior. Okay, and maybe maybe that's who it was then. Because he was a senior in 2017. Linebacker from Alabama. Is this good radio? Don't answer that, Beaver. Don't answer that. We're going. Yep, that's him. That's him. Breck, we figured it out. Desmond Harris went to McAdory High School, Bessemer, Alabama. He was a senior on that Tax Slayer Bowl team that went in there and beat Lamar Jackson in Louisville, and he was wearing number 11. Linebacker, 6'4", 243, graduate patch. That was a giveaway. Of course, the number. That was it. Did he play in the game? Let's see if we got any stats for him in that ball game. Defense. Yeah, any tackles? Okay, he did participate in the game. He did play. I don't show. Of course, the old stats are a little different. Some of the records are a little different, and I don't actually see the total stats for everybody that did participate on defense and special teams, but it does show that he played in the game. How about that? It's a big game used jersey. Dad's a great guy. Big smile, always happy. One of those that never had a bad day. Love to know what he's doing. I remember he you know what? Grant Harris played. Des Harris did not. Had to miss some games at the end of the year because of leg injury. But I remember Des. Breck, thanks for texting, and I appreciate the pictures. That's really cool to see. Oh, he said, yeah, he confirmed it. The old hump chairs are, in fact, out on his front porch, and they are for sitting in. They're not for looking. They're not just for looking at. That's great. Thanks for the pictures. That's it for today. I'm Matt. For Beaver, all of us here on the show, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. See you then. See ya.